What up, y'all? This is Alec Dixon with SC Labs and The Scoop. This episode today is all about what happens when your hash gets hosed. Join me as we follow the twisted tapestry of cannabis and hemp science. From terpenes to THC and hash to hoses, we got you covered. For any cannabis producer, whatever license type or area of the plant that one might be serving, it's hyper important to really understand and have confidence in the supply chain that you build. The supply chain for different types of cannabis ingredients, the supply chain for different types of amendments. If you're farming, kind of different types of integrated pest management products that you might be using, I think the great successes that we've been seeing with lots of the leading people that we serve in the United States, really, they're dialed when it comes to kind of mastery over their supply chain. Working with this plant, I think it just requires this heightened level of due diligence to kind of vet and verify kind of those supply chain partners that somebody might work with. So in the Cat 4 type conversation, there's this one fungicide called thiabendazole in Colorado. As the new pesticide testing regulations rolled out, we learned that a lot of the leading solventless hash makers making live rosin and different types of solventless hash, we identified a lot of these groups all of a sudden started failing for this fungicide called thiabendazole. And, ultimately, when we get into these root cause analyses, we start tracking down where it's coming from. Some of these products aren't sprayed with this chemical. So where is it coming from? And ultimately, we learned that it's coming from a common garden hose that people were using. It's a garden hose called Flexzilla. It just so turns out that Flexzilla is packed full of thiabendazole to prevent algae and fungal growth on the hose. And so this garden hose is used as a transfer hose from the big mix where they're making the hash and the ice water and the material. And then they'll have a transfer hose to drain the tank into the bubble bags and the sieves. And ultimately, there's one step of this garden hose being present, all of a sudden, presented this major contamination risk of this fungicide called thiabendazole. Ultimately, it's again one of these topics around kind of, who would have ever thought, right, that a garden hose, a common garden hose, would be full of this EPA regulated fungicides. Once thiabendazole kind of really came to the surface, it really highlighted that, like, what hoses are you using? What kind of non-leaching plastics or other types of kind of stainless steel tubing can you implement that kind of just avoids this issue from ever happening? Those that paid attention to became aware and kind of optimized their systems to kind of avoid that. I know people that pretty much just now avoid garden hoses in general and only work with specific types of non-leaching plastics or stainless steel. Ultimately, it's like one of those things that if you don't know, you don't know. And so I think that's part of the big role that we provide at SC Labs as a partner in solutions, to help kind of identify areas of risk, to help transcend and, from the previous losses people have had, helping empower lessons for all the future, generations of people that are in these unique spaces like hash making. Cannabis is not the only thing to kind of scrutinize to make sure it's coming from a clean supplier or a clean region of a state. It's all these other ingredients, that cannabis is really helping to expose through testing and really kind of, it's holding a new level of accountability, for any supply chain that chooses to come work with cannabis. It's like if it's not clean, then it's getting exposed.